Before we get to the main topic, confetti, rain, and champagne, we did it. Yesterday, we hit the 10K mark. Thank you so much for your support. And I can tell you today, it is even more important to watch this video quickly and concisely, because today is going to be hot. Today is the day of days. A lot can happen today. What's on the economic agenda? Why Bitcoin is currently experiencing a slight upswing? And what you need to pay attention to, you'll find out in this video. We'll see you after the intro. Now new, Trend VIP Trading. Your opportunity to copy the signals of 2 professional traders for free. They managed to grow an account from $4,000 to $30,000 within 2 months. The results in the group are also impressive. All you need for this is a deposit of $100 into your BingX account. You can find all further information below in the description. A quick look at the heat map. Yes, everything is looking a bit greener again. Yes, we used to be happy with different numbers. Now it's just over 82K for Bitcoin, and we're already happy. But okay, excluding Tron, it's quite a green picture. XRP has also fought its way back up nicely with almost 8%. But appearances can be deceiving, so be cautious if you don't plan to count yourself into this scale a bit. And to be liquidated out, significant economic data is due today. I even made a complete video about it, what could happen on the 12th of March. If you're interested in the details, click here. Here you will get the short and concise summary. But before we get to that, a big thank you for yesterday's video. An absolute record has now been broken consecutively. On one hand, we have surpassed 10,000 subscribers. Man, I'm super excited. Also, over 5,000 clicks on yesterday's video, 341 likes. I'm very curious. Will we break the 400 mark today? It would be super cool because it also supports my work, my hours of research, and pushes this channel forward as the algorithm really likes that. That's why you're always welcome to leave a comment or a free like here. And if this is perhaps the first video you're watching, what do I actually do? This is about crypto news. Honestly, fact-based, neutral, transparent, without hype. Plus, the trading setup you need daily to earn an extra $1 or $2. And if you're interested in that, feel free to subscribe to this channel for free and activate the bell so you don't miss any important information. And now, let's continue. I've also shared some new news on X again. So if you're interested, feel free to follow me there. Enter ETH's uptrend info here or check the description. There's the link. Michael Saylor has posted something great again. Big things are coming. Yeah, okay, with the B meaning the Bitcoin logo. What he means by that, hey, I'm getting tired of such actions a la Eric Trump. Bye. And then the thing goes down, so don't let yourself be misled by that. Then, is there something new from Cynthia Loomis as well? Yes, quite interesting. So she has now apparently submitted Bitcoin Act 2.0 because the first version, she didn't manage to get it through the committee. Now, one can only ask why Trump, with his full praise, and we're so awesome and are doing a crypto summit at the White House meeting, didn't talk about it. So, no, great idea. Now we will see how far this draft of the Bitcoin Act will make it beyond the Senate boundaries. Then there were also some news at World Liberty Financial. Yes, they have now made almost 50 million in losses because they consistently keep buying Ethereum via DCA. And then the market effectively continued to fall. I almost feel like crying because of the Trump meme coin. They have almost only made 500 million in profit there. But well, putting that aside for now, what still really interests me is where have the Bitcoins gone? So they were transferred weeks ago, apparently as some security measure. I think it was to coin or something. But as of today, they are no longer distributed here and thus the largest position. Currently is Ethereum. And while we're on the topic of wallets, Bitmart is celebrating its 7-year anniversary. I was recently invited to the event there and I also shared the pictures from it. So it was really cool to exchange ideas with the people. There was quite a lot on offer. And considering it was an event on German soil, that's certainly not so easy. Therefore, I can only give you the tip, 7 years for an exchange. Oh, that's definitely a statement. It's also one of the largest, so Bitmart should already be a familiar name to you. If you're still looking for a solid exchange, then feel free to check it out. You can look in the description if you also want to support my channel at the same time. Speaking completely transparently, if you trade there, I receive a portion of the fees which you would pay anyway. So that's spoken openly and transparently. As I said, you have various options. You can get into copy trading here. Then, of course, you have all the common cryptocurrencies that are known, and you have various options here. There are also staking options, which I always find cool. If you say I'm holding long-term anyway, well, I'm not a big fan of holding assets long-term on an exchange. However, when it comes to staking and the earnings, they are good. And since it's also a licensed exchange that has been on the market for many years, I see it as less risky now. But of course, everyone can decide for themselves. Then you can do spot and futures trading, just as you know it. So feel free to click through, especially for the 7-year anniversary. Where was that? There are also various prize pools, etc. So feel free to click in there. Here is the timeline of what has happened since 2017. And then, of course, you can also follow X or join the Telegram group, which I always find great for transparency. And then you can participate in various activities here, especially if you are active in trading. So I give you the tip, just click in there, check it out, then you won't miss anything. And with that, we are almost at the main topic of what today is about. Today's the day of days. Today's the 12th March. Today, the consumer price index is released. Speculation is high. What has happened with inflation? Has it increased? That would, of course, be disastrous. Or is it below expectations? That would finally be a bullish scenario. Pay attention. 1:30 p.m. Why? The USA, they already had a time change. Yes, now you can equate it again, pair it with that. It seems very much like, without looking deeper into the crystal ball, that the Fed is not planning any interest rate cuts for now. On the other hand, there's Donald Trump with his trade war, where you can almost read between the lines, even if he doesn't say it outright. The trade war probably exists only to weaken the US economy in order to force the Fed to its knees, so that they have to lower the interest rates. Now, Trump just has to be careful, because if he overplays his hand, we might really end up in a recession. And that would, of course, be disastrous. But fundamentally, everything seems to be going as Trump envisions it right now. As mentioned, the Fed is still holding up bravely and says, no, we are not planning to lower any interest rates. But now we will see how this whole situation unfolds. And so here we have it. The forecast is virtually unchanged from before, these 2.9%. Now it just becomes interesting because there is this value from Truflation, which several are now reporting on, and I have also reported on it. And the index stands at 1.32%, which is quite wild, by the way, if you look at how rapidly inflation has apparently been brought down here. Now we have to wait and see. I spoke with an expert who told me that it's based on a different calculation method, which is why it's not directly comparable. But if these numbers do collapse like this, holy moly, then things could really take off. When will we find out? At 1:30 p.m., of course, the big question first before we get to the trading setup. Yes, why has the stock market then already stabilized now? The numbers aren't out yet, so there are several speculations at first. I will now provide proof that Bitcoin reacts to the traditional market. That means, as experts, we should take a look at what the NASDAQ is actually doing. Now, the expectation is quite high, saying, yes, this war, Ukraine, Russia, there's been 30 days of calm now. And as a result, the entire global economy could perhaps settle down a bit, relax. Maybe the war will also end, which would, of course, be desirable, but there are also other topics. And you can see that here, and one can say again it's just Trump because he simply stood up yesterday and said, hey, friends, all right, Canada, why be stingy? We're just going to do it now. 50% tariffs. This has consequently led to very volatile movements in the markets once again. What a surprise. However, he then backtracked and said, well, the import tariffs on steel and aluminum, they will remain as announced at 25%. Everything's fine. Well, and that has led to this sideways movement for now. Or rather, we can see this with the NASDAQ here because you can see exactly on this line where the daily closing price was for now. Now, of course. It's also interesting to see what happens in the markets now. Because as you can see here, this is already a critical threshold. Therefore, it remains to be seen here. I have marked the critical zones here. Should this not hold, and it continues to slide down, due to inflation figures, for example, then we will likely find ourselves in this range again. And before you ask yourself, what does this mean for Bitcoin? Well, you'll be able to answer that yourself, and I'll provide you with the proof now. Yesterday, I published a short reel on Instagram, and someone commented below, "You're just talking nonsense, and it's just crystal ball predictions and such. What do you see here?" You see the Bitcoin chart in the 4-hour view here, and what you see above is the NASDAQ at the same time in the 4-hour view. So, I don't want to go out on a limb here. And, of course, there are a few fluctuations in there, but fundamentally, it looks pretty much the same to me. So that means in the first step, we should look at the traditional markets today, or in the coming days, or even in the future. Take a closer look. And with that, we come directly to today's trading setup. As usual, I use BingX, so if you're wondering, a cool exchange where you can trade without KYC, by the way. That's the big difference now. Then check the description, there's the link to it. By the way, if you deposit there, there's also a deposit bonus. If you deposit $100 into your futures account, you get a $25 bonus, and with a $500 deposit, even $80. Now let's continue looking here. Down, my positions are still open and still in the negative. I have now opened new orders, and I can tell you, I just placed an order right at the liquidation price. I mentioned it in the video yesterday. It went badly. XRP got liquidated because I missed it and didn't think the movement would be so drastically downward. But why? I can at the current moment, because that would really be a crystal ball. Look, not say what will happen at 1:30 p.m. What will we see? Will we see a big pump because the numbers are good, or a big dump because the numbers are bad? And if it goes up, well, if it goes up, I have my positions open and they can nicely run into profit. But if it goes down, well, folks, then the whole thing is already secured. Whether the order will actually be picked up, that's another matter. Basically, they are standing pretty solid, but by the way, it's valuable again if you don't go in with such a crazy leverage. But as I said, wait, and maybe don't overdo it, just a tip. Now a quick look at the Bitcoin heat map. Of course, we see up here everything is full. Logically, many short positions have been opened here accordingly. Down here, of course, a bit has formed as well, obviously because some longs have marched in again. Now, one might assume, okay, this zone could realistically be targeted, but as I said, we need the corresponding news for that. Because if the numbers turn out poorly, then there can be as much up here as it wants. It can still happen that we tumble down further. And by the way, there's still quite a bit there. We have to zoom out quite a bit for that, but just to touch on the topic, so there's still a lot of wood down here, and therefore, it remains to be seen. The news will decide whether we might actually see another dip here and then continue upwards. Hopefully, I can't imagine that we would stay down there for all the critics out there. But as I said, it's conceivable. Now a quick look at the Bitcoin chart. Yes, so now here in the 4-hour view, you can see that was already quite good. The rejection occurred here at this threshold, and since that point, it has continued upwards. But even when you look at it from a broader perspective, it's all quite nice. However, we still have lower lows. And we have lower highs. So we are still in this downtrend. Therefore, as I said, this is really crystal ball guessing. The news is decisive. Further look at Ethereum. Yes, that is logically completely dependent on Bitcoin on it. And to be honest, it doesn't look so rosy. So we had our symmetrical triangle that had formed here. Well, this uptrend, we can basically forget about it here. Then it went down and the symmetrical triangle was broken to the downside. We are now, again, at critical thresholds. I have also drawn the target zones here, and I can certainly imagine it can also happen, depending on the news, that we slide back into this zone area or even further down. Cardano, on the other hand, doesn't look so bad right now, so it is here. This large vector candle from the Trump pump has been completely retested, and since that time it has continued to go up. And even if we draw this downtrend here, which was broken through, it still doesn't help us at all. If Bitcoin or the traditional markets do not perform in such a way that it can continue to go up here, another look at XRP now here on the daily view. Well, yes, it has normalized a bit again, fought back, and the price is now back inside our triangle. But this can quickly run in the other direction again. For this, let's briefly look at the 4-hour view again. We are still inside our downtrend, and therefore we are still in the critical zone here. So regarding the volume area, depending on the news, I will leave the 157 as a precaution for now. In short, that's it for today. I am very curious, do these news help you further? What should I go into more detail on? Feel free to write about it in the comments. And if you liked the video and would like to support my work, you can also leave a like. And otherwise, in conclusion, I can give you the tip to check out this video. I talk about what the bitter truth about crypto reserves is and how quickly such things can happen. If you're interested in that more deeply, you should be, then feel free to check it out. We'll see each other tomorrow in the next update. Until then, all the best. Bye.